welcome to Rini Bobini Creations. If this is the first time you've popped by to check out my channel, welcome. I do hope you like what you see. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing and sharing with your fellow crafters. If you've been to see me before and you're back again, I'm so grateful that you are. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you do. So for today's craft, it's sort of a new little segment I'm doing. I'm calling it I Betcha I Can Make Something With That. And this sort of came from work. I work for an off-road dealership, Polaris actually, so ATVs and sleds, that sort of thing. So not a place you'd think would have a lot of crafting supplies. But every once in a while I find something on my desk from someone, whether it's packaging or pieces of something, and a little notes on there saying, I bet you can make something with that, because they kind of know I'm the crafty lady. So that's what inspired it. But in spite of the inspiration, the first craft didn't come from Polaris. It's actually this old 70's light fixture that I am so glad is no longer hanging in my entryway. I just hated it as a light fixture, but I really liked what I ended up doing with it. So I hope you guys like it too. There's a bit of a twist on it, so watch it right to the end and you'll see. So let me stop yakking at you and we'll get into the crafting. Okay, so for this I Bet You I Can Make Something With That episode, I've got this. This is an old 70's light fixture that was so ugly, and it came off of our entryway. We've replaced it with something a little nicer. So when I saw it, I pretty much figured out right away what I was going to do with it. It was the how I was going to do it. I'm going to turn it into a really cool vase. So the first thing I needed to do was find something that would fit over bottom. And as it happens, this is just a little tray that came with some, like a candle set that I had, and the candles are burnt out. And it just happens to fit just about how I want it. So first thing I'm going to do is glue this on with our handy E6000, and I'm going to let that set overnight. And then we'll come back, and anyone that's ever been in my kitchen never has to guess what my favorite flower is. I have sunflowers everywhere. So I found these beautiful napkins with the sunflowers in them. So I just cut them out, and I'm going to be not 100% sure how they're going to go on there yet, but I'm sure Mod Podge will be involved. And I also have this sort of buffalo check napkin that I'm thinking I might incorporate. So we'll just see how it goes. Alright, so I got the candle holder stuck to the bottom here, and I decided I really don't like the silver. So I am going to paint the silver part black, because I'm going to be using one of these napkins on there. And as you can see, the sunflowers, now these were cut out of napkins as well. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to sponge paint it on, because it is not going to want to stick real well to the silver. I will seal it after, and that will take care of it, but just to get it to stick on there to start. So I have tape, just in case I get a bit messy. I am going to tape off around it just to make sure I don't get it everywhere. Now the napkin will hide some minor flaws, I'm sure, but okay, so my black paint's all dry. You can see there is some little bit showing through here, but that's okay, this is going to hide it. So that is the next step. So what I'm going to do next is I've kind of figured out how high up I want my buffalo check. So I'm going to have it covers part of that black, just so I don't have any of that silver showing through. It's going to go up want that high. Now because of the shape of this, it's not like a perfect cylinder, so it's going to crumple. Like, and we're gonna have to make some bunches, which is okay, I don't mind that look. But what I don't want to end up happening is my straight line up here goes crooked. So I'm just gonna measure the length that I want here, and I'm gonna put marks along, all the way along, and that'll be my starting point, and then I can make my adjustments at the bottom and add the folds, I guess, around the bottom. So just so I have a straight line when we're all done, I'm just going to measure. So, and I'm just going to go slightly over the black. I don't know if you guys do this. I always mark up my things, otherwise I forget where it was. Okay. That way I won't forget which line it was. And I'm just going to go just underneath the black and make a mark. And I'm going to do this all the way around. So now I'm just going to, you will need two. I mean, if your whole napkin is this and you don't have this, you'll just need one. If you've got a different pattern, I actually need two of these to go all the way around. So I'm just gonna cut. Okay, so as I said, they're either 2 or 3 ply. Sometimes they're a bit frustrating to get apart. They don't want to separate. But if you kind of fold down the corner and just play with it for a few minutes. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to pull off. It comes off super easy once you find the edge. No, I mean, you don't need this for the craft or anything, but I always just keep them from blotting my paintbrushes or whatever. I don't like throwing things away, just when I can use them for something. So actually I'll do that one after. So we're going to do the Mod Podge. Now because I might put this one actually out on my deck, I decided to go with the dishwasher safe. You don't have to, you can use whatever kind you want, especially if it's going to remain in the house. So we're just going to clean off our paintbrush here. Take out most of the water, so I'm already using my blotting thing because I buried the other one. And then, like I said, we're going to start at the line. That will be our guide, not at the bottom, at the line, because at the bottom is where we can fold it and do whatever corrections we kind of need. So you're going to put a good layer on. Now with this particular project, I wouldn't say put your whole base coat on. I'd say do it in sections, or it may dry before you get to it, just because there might be a little fussing around. Now you see your, I should mention that too, this pen I used is washable. It's probably going to come off before I even have to try and get it off. So I'm just going to go just below my line. Now you can see that if we keep going straight, it's going to go on an angle. So we do need to make a little fold. So our next line, just below it. And that's fine. I actually don't mind that one bit. In fact, I kind of like the look of it. So you're going to use the top is the one you want to be straight. The bottom is the one where you make your creases. And don't knock everything over. Okay guys, so I got this part Mod Podged on and I did my first sunflowers, but I kind of messed up. So you can see, because I used the napkins and not paper, the buffalo check really came through and kind of, I don't like it. So I do have a fix for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint very carefully white where the buffalo check is, and then I'm going to take my second cutout and just place it over top on the white paint, and that should, in theory, take care of that problem. So now going forward with the other ones, when I do these ones, now I was thinking about the best way to do it afterwards. I'm just going to Mod Podge these ones to the line so that they stay in place and I get an exact sort of area, because then I'm going to trace around the bottom, paint it white before I Mod Podge the other ones on. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to start by just painting this guy, and hopefully that takes care of our problem there. I should have thought of that ahead of time. I've done this before and I kind of know better, but I didn't think of it until after I'd Mod Podged. So just this fine, simple brush, I'm going to just do my best to stay just where it meets, overlaps on the buffalo check. And hopefully that'll work for us. So I did Mod Podge the top on. I traced around it with just a chalk pen and painted around it. But I did want to mention that you do want to go in with a Q-tip and just a little water and remove your tracing line, because they will be slightly outside the leaves. And so when you Mod Podge it down, you'll get Mod Podge on it and then you won't be able to get them off and they'll show. So just make sure you don't forget that little step and go around with your Q-tip and remove your tracing lines before you Mod Podge the rest of it down. Okay, so now that they're all Mod Podged, we're going to need a pot, something like this, that fits inside but doesn't fall all the way down. And that one just happened to be perfect. And I thought about leaving it the yellow, but I think the yellow is not quite a good match, so I'm going to give it a coat of black paint. If your weather permits, use black spray paint. Mine does not, so I'm going to use an acrylic. I've said before too that the acrylics don't love to stick to the ceramic or glass, but if you sponge it on, get a decent coat, and then put a seal over top of it, whether you use Mod Podge or a varnish or a spray top coat, any of those things will really help with keeping the paint in place. So now that it's all painted, and you won't see the inside, so I didn't worry about that. I just put some foam inside, I just used styrofoam, but you could use floral foam, whatever you have on hand. And I just started arranging all the flowers until I got something I was happy with. And you can see I've got that big roll of buffalo check. I got a really good deal on that at Michael's. It was in their Christmas bin for 75% off. And it's awesome. So I'm just going to make a great big buffalo check bow to go with it. I just wrap it over on itself, wrap it in the middle with either some floral wire or even a pipe cleaner will work. I'm going to put it on a skewer so I can stick it in where I want it. And we'll just play until we're happy with our flower arrangement. Now this is the cool part. This is why we needed it to be in a pot, because I have these string lights that actually came on like a cork, like you would put in a wine bottle. But I knew if I put the flowers all the way in to the bottom with the long stems, the shadow of the stem would kind of glow through, and I really didn't want that to happen. So putting the flower arrangement in the smaller pot and putting the lights under it fixed that problem, and I was really pleased with the outcome. So I hope you guys like it too. I will finish fussing with it here and I'll show you the final result. So here's the final product. I'm really happy with how it turned out. From an ugly old 70s hanging light to a beautiful vase, and I love the way it glows. If you enjoyed today's program, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up and please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you back again. Thanks!